and we interviewed him on the first. And there was one line in the testimony that we had that we presented for Pred's case where he said Bobby and Carmine tried to kill me. And Grayson thought that was evidence that was submitted into the case. I'm like, I don't remember that being in my notes. And then I reviewed it. I reached out to Marshall Ruth, and she's like, well, I think it's in this one. I was like, okay, well, I got to mention that. I was like, it is a Rhodes violation. Like, this was taken after. And Justice Falconer basically just said, yeah, I see what happened here. It's a Rhodes violation, but we'll handle it later. And we just did the case. So
easy.
Might be a fine, might be suspension. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, you're good.
So.
There's a lot of. So I'm going to give you the spiel again, right? And I want to realign. I'm going to say the following. If 99% of people that are in law enforcement were in your position, there's a good chance they'd say, fuck this shit immediately. Most people are not used to being screamed at. Most individuals are not used to having accusations thrown their way. Most people are not used to being ganged up on. You were, Ruth was, I'm aware of that, right? I've seen it happen, which is why I don't really care too much when you cross that line of professionality to bite back. Professional does not mean that, you have to prevent yourself from, showing your own teeth, right? And I think throughout this process, I have seen you hold back your punches. I mean, even myself, I, was almost pushing kind of heavy at one point, saying that Pred should have gotten like witness tampering. But you looked at the evidence, you looked at the statements, and you said, you know what, I don't think I'm beyond a reasonable doubt. And they're never going to accept that. But I know that you have been doing what you thought was best based on the letter of the law and not any personal biases, feelings, etc., etc. With that being said, I know that the past 2 weeks you've had to deal with a lot of inappropriate behavior, gross allegations, accusations, just endlessly, while you had to make time for those that do not wish to give anyone an ounce of theirs. I am not the only one that has noticed this. Many have noticed it. But as with most cases, the loud barking dogs, you can hear them very easily, but that does not mean that there aren't a lot of individuals that see what it is that you did, even beyond the EMS that thanked you yesterday. Everything that has happened in that courtroom, the timing has not been great. New DOJ in place. They're still trying to figure things out. Maybe decisions were made on either side. Like, you sent me the comment about Faulkner. He's a good guy. And I say that because I've worked with him long enough to know that he does try to do his best. We may not always agree. Just know that not every, in the heart of all the bullshit you've dealt with, and as I've been there, sometimes we may misfire our opinions on the why, right? Like, I too would wonder if, hey, was this ruling made because of this reason or that reason? It could be for. I don't think any ruling he's made will be in malice, right? It may feel that moment when you got all this fucking bullshit happening, right? And I agree that there needs to be more decorum in court on a serious situation. Doesn't matter if it's Bobby or clowns. That judges hold their courts like in check, right? People's behavior in check. I don't think we, as the marshals, should have to keep the lawyers in check. And I am not ignorant that we are held to a higher standard than anybody else. In fact, I hold us to a higher standard because we are not building for today. We're building for tomorrow. That I want y'all to be prepared for whatever happens. Which is why I'm not concerned about the other departments outside of the immediate needs. Because if they not wish to follow, if they wish to just be absolute utter dog shit, that is their choice. But they are taking a very, very dangerous fucking gamble, right? I know that you very similar to Ruth are probably very discouraged being a prosecutor, given all of this. I can promise you that this is hyper abnormal, and I hope that passion comes back at the end of all of it. But the fact that you are still standing here means that you have grown. And you're probably going to realize that, after all this is done and done, is you're going to be happy that you actually managed to handle all this, while most, like I said, would have folded. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, you're a part of what is a clown show, of a bunch of tantrum children who have leaned on leaned on a lot, done whatever they can in their power to protect daddy, and that's okay. But I don't expect court cases to be run like this a month from now, right? I do think that you should probably take some time away from prosecuting after all this. I would too. This has been exhausting. There's a lot of other things that I'd like you to experience. Howdy. I hope you take what I said to heart. You know what I mean? So,
whatever he said, I second.
Yep.
What could I have done to improve the situation? What can I do to be better?
I don't think you could have handled it any better, to be honest. I mean, like I said, most would have said, fuck this isn't worth it, dog.
Were there any comments I made unprofessional that sparked this conversation? Was there anything that I could have done to temper the situation? I would like to...
sorry, go ahead.
While people are not perfect, Director, I strive for perfection. I understand I will never reach that. I need to be very clear. I hold my badge, my oath, and this position with extreme honor. I don't hold it lightly, and I understand this is a very privileged few. And I never want to be in a position where there's honest disappointment or concern that I, as a deputy marshal, as Skylar Sparks, would be in a position that puts anything in purposefully compromisable. So whatever I can do to improve, whatever I can do to better myself, or if there's something that you saw even a hair out of line, I would like to know so I can better myself.
No, I don't think I could think of a singular thing given these circumstances, because at the end of the day, everyone's human, right? And I think that everything needs to be taken within context. I think the only thing that I would like to see you improve on, and this is something that I think a lot of folks that have not been in San Andreas, it takes some time to pick up on. Very few see it. Even Blunt. We're going to be honest, I pointed some things out. These guys were going to play dirty. I saw it coming a mile away, but I had the privilege of knowing Grayson, the privilege of knowing Pred, knowing the behavioral aspects. I'm kind of what do they call it when you like, your interrogations are more about their feelings with this is like sociopath or whatever the fuck, right? I could see the writing on the wall, and I think we should not be, when we're met with that, we should not hesitate to play the same docket game, right? And what I mean by that is send the sanctions, right? Even with this Pred thing with the impeachment, I don't think we need whatever there is, we fucking dumpster. You know what I mean? If someone's dumpstering, you gotta dumpster back, right? And the reason for it is as follows. People a lot of people in San Andreas are things change based on reactions. You sometimes have to show how it feels on the other side, right? And unless they see it themselves, they're not going to understand. Am I making sense here?
Crystal
is
I already requested for Justice Falconer to consider sanctions due to the behavior from Grayson yesterday, which I pointed out, which he was in attendance, and sanctions are being considered in the ruling.
Okay, very good. I'd say if someone goes, goes ham with like, yo, this pretrial, that's pretrial, blah 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 blah. Like fuck it. Like we got a bunch of legal tools ourselves. We start fucking like I'm gonna be real with you. And this kind of goes to Fred getting charged isn't enough. It needs to be a matter of record. I do still think we got to impeach him. I'm pretty sure. That's a separate conversation. Your hands are full. Your hands are full. But I'm putting that out there as we should probably double check the legislation on it because this is a personal opinion of mine, right? Like if someone was like a senator in some state and they got charged with criminality, they should still be impeached for what they did, for the time they were in office, right? And you, as a part of that function, you say because of this, they should be prevented from holding a government position for X, Y, and Z time. And I know that was part of the docket ruling, but it's not necessarily the same as an impeachment, though I know that impeachments here in San Andreas are a little bit different. You get my vibe, you know?
Yes, sir.
So, this is go ahead. No, go ahead.
There have been instances in the past where individuals have either left or been removed from the office prior to the impeachment being heard. And in all of those instances, in this state, at least under this impeachment legislation, they've been then dismissed as moot. So there has not ever been that's what the impeachment stops at removal from office. That is the most severe outcome that is legislated that can come from that. The order of, barring somebody from government employment going forward is not something that's covered under the impeachment legislation. That would need to be a separate action.
Okay.
Does it make sense? It's something that we can bring to DOJ to fix.
And maybe that's what it is maybe because like I've got so much ingrained in me as to what impeachments are elsewhere that I'm looking at it wrong. I'll take a look at the past ones. Do you know any specific examples?
Princess Elena.
Oh, they didn't, but what? No, but that might not be relevant simply because she fled the country. Wait, do you guys know this? When I say fled the country, just to be clear here, she got on a boat and literally,
yes, she left the country.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't.
I only
think that
make
was
that
the
clarifying
issue,
point because, she was a good one despite being a criminal. Yeah.
There was a second one. I'm forgetting who the subject was, but I'm trying to dig it up now.
That is so strange if that's the case. We should get clarity because it's been so long and every 3 months there's a different outlook on what legislation is.
Sophia McMoo.
Listen, if we got,
she was removed from the position by a superior in the department, and therefore the impeachment was withdrawn as moot.
Here's what I think we should do. And even though just for reference, this was like an example, right? But I think in a case like this, we send someone that's like pretty decent at docket writing that hasn't done it before in the marshals and have them copyright something, right?
I would vehemently encourage that.
Yeah, because even if it then doesn't go forward, it at least gives them the understanding of the process and then allows like experts like you two to look at it and be like, hey, I would do it this way, or like this should change.
Yeah. No, 100% there should be a change to the impeachment legislation that allows for that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, actually writing it up anyways.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Submit a proposed draft.
Hey, Maeve.
Hey, do you want sealing on this search warrant?
Yes.
Okay, what part do you want sealed? All of it?
Yeah, let's seal the entirety of it because we don't know what we're going to find. And if we find evidence of it, then the homeowner Ripozo and we, all that.
So on the part where it says request for sealing, I just put yes, entire search warrant.
Yeah, let me finish up this convo and then I'll take a look at it.
Okay, me and Kingsman are on the roof.
Ooh, love it. Okay, good shit. All right, I appreciate you, Maeve. I'll give you a call in just a little bit. And also, I'm meeting up with Faulkner to get Angel's going to be around in 4 hours. I'm going to talk to Faulkner about protective custody, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Easy. All right. You take care.
All right.
Okay.
So that can I provide some clarity on my thought process in the last 2 weeks, Director?
Please.
Just so you understand where I am. Anything I have when it comes directly to my command, my coworkers, considering the situation, my stress, all of that is my little way of de-stressing from the situation. It's my little teapot of letting the steam out. Does that make sense?
100%.
I'm utilizing my team, their expertise, and things like that. So I don't want you to think that at any point at any time going forward, these 2 cases, yesterday was the biggest one. I have so much off of my plate because of that. I have so much off of my plate after this. Fenwell is taking Friday's pre-trial. I'm gonna discuss with him, and then if the trial proceeds on Monday, Marshall Ruth will be taking that.
Duncan is?
Yeah.
Huh. Y'all sure you're good with that? I don't know if Duncan's done any police work in a year and a half.
Well, I mean, it depends on what goes here, but I think Marshall Blunt stated, sir, you stated that you
I am available now, yes.
Okay.
You should you should definitely work with him there, Blunt, because I love Duncan. I brought Duncan in for the memes, if I'm gonna I'll keep it a buck. That's not to say he's not capable, but if you haven't really done police work in a year and a half, maybe 2 years, right? You really should not be in. Would be negligence of us to be putting him there.
All
yeah. Okay. That's perfect. That being said, Director, I just need that to be clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
May I speak freely?
Yes.
I'm not anywhere near a crash out.
Okay. All right.
I'm fine.
Okay. Good.
My spine is a lot straighter, despite me, my spine is a lot straighter, my constitution is a lot stronger, and I have a lot more fortitude for bullshit and pedantry than what it seems. So I can confidently state that I'm okay. So
good.
Just to be forward and clear.
That's very good to hear. And
if I'm not showing that, I will endeavor to show you.
Hey,
that. I'm good.
I am always gonna, the way I operate, I am always very direct.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes that paints me as an asshole, because sometimes that means disciplinary directness. But I like to operate that way just so there is no confusion about what I am thinking and an opportunity for the other party to clarify. Right.
No worries. Happy to always clarify.
Hell yeah.
I am not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right. Good shit.
The text message I sent you, Director, was that inappropriate concerning Falconer? Would you like me to not text you that kind of information?
I wouldn't. I think
yes, sir. Understood.
The way I'll phrase it is like this, right? Rulings are sometimes going to be cooked. And it's similar to how I think some of the decisions made this week have been rather cooked. With the pre-trials and whatever. However, when I look through the lens, I say to myself, I know Angela well enough. I've seen how she's professional, and I may not recognize what she is thinking and what she's perceiving when we present something. We may not be aware of what's happening in the background. For example, DOJ perhaps, and we don't know for sure, right? Perhaps experimenting with a case, with these cases.
Yes, sir.
And until we witness and have evidence, similar to how we investigate, of a patterned misbehavior, we should be careful not to draw judgment. Because even in the moment, it's just like, what the fuck is this shit, right? That feeling might be in the moment, but it may unintentionally skew our perception of that individual going forward before we should cast the judgment. You know what I mean? So it'd be, I'd say,
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
I understand, sir. My apologies for the inappropriate text message. I will endeavor to be more neutral.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for the advice.
Easy. Bit of a heads up.
Yes, sir.
In fact, it would be good for y'all to attend this one. I do. We caught, yesterday, right? The whole thing with the Ming.
The 9-hour thing.
Yes. This is like our ears only. You don't got to clog them or nothing like that. But Lang Buddha infiltrated the fucking. He was in that set of 8 or 12 we fucking murked with Ming.
With the red mask?
Yes, yes. I'm whispering right now.
Yeah. No. I'm
yes.
very. I'm sorry.
And
what?
Yes. So I had a recording, where he explained, because I didn't buy it for a second, right? So he was feeling very sleepy, so I had local, DOC marshals move him to the marshals' cells. I interrogated him earlier. He infiltrated and did not know that these things were going to happen. I can say that with certainty without going into the details of what was said, just for sake of time for now. And he, on his person, had a weapon coming down to the murder of the dock workers who were involved with giving the faceless guns. So he went there and fucking murked these dock workers. He admitted to it. We're currently working on a plea deal. Because here's where it gets cooked. His blood's on scene. Summa PD probably is aware of that. I'm already getting phone calls just because of the blood. Now, one thing you will learn is Lang Buddha is like, I don't know what it is with like some folks. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, putting Lang in jail is, I get it, right? Gang leader. It's like putting Forehead in jail, whatever. The motherfucker's been in there so many times. I don't know what the fuck what the hell? Like, maybe he's got like the golden fucking nutsack or something. I don't know what the hell, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's kind of like a look at the name. Like, I don't understand it. I don't. Now, but the reason I point this out is he is quite literally in danger if mishandled. Now, word's already kind of out there, and so now we get into this strange space of we don't have a system in place to put someone in protective custody and serve multi-year sentence without it being like hyper publicized. Now, in past, the way that it works, the system that the old DOJ had, with the 5 justices, is we have two individuals that handle our faceless stuff. What that allows is they can see completely unsealed reports, unsealed warrants, et cetera, have all the information necessary in order to, sign it, not sign it. If we have a plea deal, they can look at the classified documents. I'm going to be having a chat with that individual. I'm also going to have a chat with Angel when she's back in 4 hours. But the plan of action, and please poke holes in this, is to use the old formula where there is the sealed file available to the signing judge. However, the primary report has most of that stuff not sitting in there.
I think that's fine because it's the thing is the defendant, the prosecution, or the prosecuting officers and the judge are aware of the information. I think a full sealing / full protective order for judicialized and confidentialized only is perfectly fine.
Yeah, the only thing is, how do I put this? We cannot jail someone without revealing their name. Obviously, DOC needs to know about it. And I think we need to think about a grander, especially we're living now in a time where we have literal criminals going against terror organizations. And if they're willing, they're going to get charged for the crimes they committed, like the murders and the this and the that. But how do we protect them for the information they give us if they all go in the same box at the end? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be seen in prison. Their records, how we handle those. How do we handle them during the intermittent stage? So those are the kind of topics that I kind of want to, open the door for.
I don't think it's that difficult. I think it's putting it on paper and seeing if that's something that will stick. and seeing if it's something the DOJ wants to proceed with. Because what's the goal here? The goal is to make sure that all the evidence is essentially sealed and he's protected because he went and murked a bunch of baseless.
Yes.
I needed my PMC director.
That's exactly it. Like and that's why I want to work with the That's why I want to work with the DOJ on it, because we're limited by tools, we are limited by facilities, but we also don't have like legislation that wraps like how do you protect someone while also charging them, right? So
correct.
In this particular example, he's going in. So what we spitballed here, Blunt, I'd like to get your opinion on this, is 3 years with first year time served. He'd be out by Thursday. He's admitted guilt. He's
This is for who?
Lang Buddha.
Okay.
We found his gun that comes back to a murder. And then he self-admitted to the second gun. He provided that for free. He said he shot the other one with a sniper, of which we do not have custody of. But we can make that assertion that he was the murderer, given the bullet, when we looked at it, did come back to a sniper rifle, of which is not readily available. He then disclosed information. What's going on, Beat?
Yeah, the only thing I have is the helicopter that's flying north over Maze Bank Arena right now.
What's the helicopter?
Let me run the plate 1 second.
Like, is it a buzzard? Wait, I'm missing context.
It just says helicopter on the ATC. The context is a plane flew over the jail or the prison, and we're just looking for it.
Do we think it's faceless or like a state matter? I'm sorry.
010, we're 23 at Grapeseed. No visual on any aircrafts on the runway or in the hangar.
I think this is we're getting a little too quick to pull the trigger on the military shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I would agree. I don't think we have any good reason.
Hey, firm. Just gotta keep us appraised. I'm gonna be real with you. There's so much of that, and it's coming from like good cops too. The military heli was pulled yesterday when I very clearly said we didn't need it yet. And next thing you know, I think Bean pulled it.
What?
Unless I'm tripping. To be fair, it was so chaotic. I may have said okay when I didn't process it. I'm leaning on. I know I was cooked, and I don't want to pass judgment on something I cannot be like entirely certain of. But I was definitely just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? I was like.
Yeah. I also want to go over in training again, the calls for deploying the asset and for being weapons free are two different levels of escalation.
Yes. And I'll give another example why I'm even bringing it up is it's the feeling that I have right now. And the feeling is also substantiated with.
You're being asked for.
Fuck. I was asking for you.
Sorry, send it.
We have Andre Tyson's vehicle trailing us. We're in an unmarked vehicle going into Polito. We saw Frederick White earlier driving extremely high speeds on 68, and I found out earlier today that Frederick White recently purchased a warehouse up in Polito.
I mean, so based on what I'm hearing right now is we have just a normal plane flying around and maybe something brewing. I'd say just monitor, right? Like kind of like we did yesterday, but I don't want us to jump the gun if we don't have any evidence of anything more.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're just making sure you're aware. All the people with monitor are coming back to. We got Andre and we got Frederick, and we got a Ravens helicopter up in the air right now as well, apparently.
A firm.
Andre Tyson's vehicle also just pulled into the alleyway where the warehouse would be.
Which warehouse? I'm sorry.
Frederick White recently just purchased a warehouse up in Polito, which is suspicious because he already had a property previously up here that he traded for one in...
the one from Helios? The one that's like 2 blocks away from the restaurant?
It's the one next to Helios, I believe.
Yeah, A-firm. Yep.
Clothing's around.
It's directly behind the clothing store.
A-firm. Let's do this. If this turns into something a little... like spicier, let's say, like please do continue to monitor the situation. If it gets a little spicier, 311 codename Red Pepper, right? Idea is that, you know, we don't have to alert the entire world, but it means that if we're off radio as a marshal on or anyone that's involved in this, they know to turn their radios on and swap to 18. You know what I mean? And then we'll reassess.
That's a good code word.
Y'all acknowledge?
Affirm.
All right.
I know it's not often done. There's a tool
Go over
that
to the-
prosecution officers do for specific behavior.
Mhm.
What is your thoughts on suspended sentencing?
Explain how that would look like. I don't fully know what a suspended sentence is.
Do you want me to explain how it's used in Liberty City, or do you want me to explain my thoughts here?
Oh, both. Yeah, let's start with how
So-
is it in Liberty and how we could apply it here.
So it depends on the prosecutor, but generally speaking, a suspended sentencing, both used in Vice and Liberty City, Georgia, everywhere else I've practiced, basically says, we're going to put you on probation. These are 6 months, a year, 2 years, right? Because their world moves a lot slower than Los Santos.
Mhm.
And so they put them on a set amount of time. They have some, anywhere between loose and strict rules, depending on what it is. It's often used for very particular circumstances, information, helping law enforcement, understanding, that this is a crazy charge, that they're technically guilty. And if they complete those goals, they do 1, they do 2, they do 3, prosecution agrees to either drop the charge or not punish them. That's how it's done there. However,
okay.
so my suggestion would be
Okay, I'm
Getting
gonna
up-
get back on the ground and go further down.
because we have the leniency in plea deals, doing something like that in a plea deal. Offering a suspended sentence, agreeing for Lang to have a 60-day statute of limitations, right? 45-day statute of limitations rather than the 30 for the murder. If he completes X, Y, and Z, or if he doesn't do A, B, and C, whatever that looks like, right? The prosecution agrees to not press those charges within that time frame. So he consents to the extension of the statute of limitations, allows for that leniency from us to still be able to press those charges, make a tight leash, and see if he fulfills that contract.
I like that general idea. I think
Yes, it's very,
Yeah.
very rough.
I want to really workshop that. The other thing that I want to workshop is, look, I'm going to tear a wall down.
Oh, God.
People that take plea deals aren't looking for us to wait for put all this shit on the docket and whatever.
Sure.
We need a better way to handle that. And I think that conversation needs to happen. Even with this Lang situation, we already know what we need to do. And now we're awaiting a bunch of paperwork that needs to be done. Instead of just being okay, this makes sense. Here's a reason why in one paragraph.
Right.
Instead it's this report and that report and this report and that report and this thing. By the time we're done writing everything, the motherfucker's already done. You know what I mean? He would have been already out. And so that's the other thing I want to kind of figure out, because it doesn't make, I get it from in a perfect world, but in a world where people go in for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, it takes more paperwork time than sentencing time for stuff that no one's going to look at. So there needs to be some form of, I think, acceptance clause, right? Where that is the norm. However, so for example, the Benji stuff, right? That's fantastic, right? But should Blunt have to do all of that, and as opposed to being yo, dog, we found this and this and this and this and this in a statement of probable cause, and here are the work copies of what was produced thus far, incompleted, even maybe with an asterisk, but he's already agreed that he's done all this, and you're done, right? Because otherwise we're wasting our time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we turn that
Or
into something that isn't a waste of time?
I think that's what it is. Statement of probable cause, working copy, and a signing of the judge, right? And they're where you can go to the judge and be yo, he agreed to all this is what we got, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And if it's well, I don't really agree with this, there's an opportunity to I don't know.
So it's just a matter of putting it in the pacing of how we work as law enforcement then.
Right now, the standard is you have to like sort of complete everything and justify everything in like into a very excruciating degree. And my recommendation is once you enter into a plea, you provide working copies, and the statement of probable cause just needs to explain out the generalized scenario of, without references, right, of why these charges are existing. So in the case of like Benji Ramos, on such and such day, Benji Ramos was arrested as a part of a situation in which the observatory and were blown up. He was subsequently, raided, to which we found a building with this and a this of this and the and it's like, here are working copying reports, right? Here are some of the reports. It doesn't even need to be fully conclusive, like, that's all
we have to do, really. Right, that's that little summary blurb of charges I put at the top of the docket filing. The charges and coming up with the charges and the PC for the charges is really the key. That's the part that takes the biggest amount of time.
I'll give you an alternative look at it. Like if we look at this Lang stuff, the best practice is we complete the entire set of reports and evidence for what happened yesterday in advance of posting it to the docket with this plea deal, right?
Right. So we don't have to put the whole evidence list. We can just do preliminary evidence list with like a handful of reports that just to start to give it context, and then we can if it does go past a plea deal into court, we can just motion to add more evidence later.
Well, if it's a plea, you wouldn't, right?
Right, exactly. We just have the preliminary reports, whatever we want to attach is the first part, and then just nip it in the bud there.
You may actually be right about that. I think the reason perhaps I've got, I'm thinking the way that I am is I have been pressed in past where this is incomplete, and I'm just like, bruh, you know what I mean? So perhaps what may be needed here is, hey, do we agree this is it? You know what I mean? Or is the expectation higher or lower? And this would, align our time a little bit better. I like to get like confirmation on things sometimes, right? Knowing
that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me call Frost back real quick.
Do you know when the verdict's coming in?
He said there would be a state announcement. I need to leave in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I may need to ask for you to step in.
Yeah, that's fine.
If for some reason he has an arrest, I have a report ready for impeachment.
How'd it go?
I don't think he's going to be found guilty of anything. Maybe evidence tampering for the spirit of the law. But I don't know. He has probable cause, and I genuinely believe, because there's an argument that Grayson keeps making, which is differently. Yeah, he's being treated differently because he is a government employee, because we want to give him the space to be able to argue those charges. So I'm at the point where I don't even want to bother with trial with this. I just want to throw him in prison and make them appeal.
Wait, sorry. Run that back. Sorry, what was it?
Is that all three of these? I'm not actually doing. I'm just talking to Blunt about the trial. But the argument that was made yesterday with Pred, the argument that's made today with Charles, and the argument that's most likely going to be made with Carmine based on the pattern is that we're treating government employees differently, and there are civilians of San Andreas and blah, 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 blah. We are treating them differently with a softer hand, but expecting them to be held to a higher standard because they're law enforcement, which they should be. So
100%.
I don't think that he's going to be found guilty for any of the charges just because of the nature of the situation. I really hope that there's evidence tampering, because we look at this, right? There's blood on scene. There's
for what it's worth,
projectiles. Yes, sir.
For what it's worth, there might have been some with the video, there might be some funky supernatural shit involved, right?
Sure.
So just
I'm not considering it.
No, I know you're not considering it, but the judge might, and I can understand if they do, right? It's kind of like, we've dealt with Norman Bones. There's fucking aliens over New Babylon. If I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like we need okay, this is going to make us, I know the judiciary may not like this, but when we live in San Andreas, in a place where there are fucking aliens over New Babylon, I think that in order for us to operate within the realm of good faith,
Right.
because we have to be considerate of the law and what we see, where does supernatural start and where does it end? Example, can you actually make the argument that an alien popped up and did something? What is the standard for when that is applicable and when it is not? Otherwise, if someone says, but aliens in the vicinity of San Andreas, are we operating in good faith saying, I don't believe you? You see where I'm going with this? And,
Yes,
and I know it's
yes,
probably
I
a topic that people don't want to attack, but inherently that is something that we as law enforcement have to process, right? And based on the video, this could have been like the green gobbler bullshit, right? Where I don't know if you've dealt with it before, but this is like green guy in the cyber.
reports.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
some weird fuck doing terrorism essentially. Director, if I ever became a vampire, would I be fired?
What?
I don't know. Just we're talking about aliens and
I
robots.
feel like that's one of those
and-
questions like, would you still love me if I was a worm type shit?
My
I
God,
mean,
this is
no.
what
I
I'm
mean,
even
if
saying.
you were a vampire, we'd be up good, right? Because then you could do whatever, like, you know, you could prosecute as hard as you wanted. What are they, is it like, even if you triggered someone and they try to shoot you, you just like heal again, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Or, you know,
I'm
we have a
human.
78th call with the faceless and you just like solo them all.
Oh yeah.
Like,
just fucking
jump
go
onto the
crazy with
helicopter and rip-
claws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just leap onto a fucking helicopter and just tear the damn you know, top off.
God, that'd be fucking wild. But then I get like sliced in half by the helicopter, and then I turn into mist, and then go find my cop. That seems I'm just gonna be human. That seems complicated.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think they're gonna be found guilty for anything. At the end of the day, I don't. At this point, I don't really care. The person I wanted to make sure was taken down, despite
Yeah.
however prejudicial that may sound. He held a high position, so we should talk. I don't think we can do anything with impeachment unless we want to challenge the legislation with the legislative auto.
That's what I'm saying. There's under its current writing, it'll just get dismissed.
I don't understand how someone with a violent felony could become a police officer.
That's a different
fucking
legislation, I think was what Byron was saying. I need to dig that up, but
I need to file the SHIELD legislation again and make that a thing. Benji Ramos recorded plea discussion.
All right.
I see.
I'm going to go and like catch up on some of this, see how Maeve's doing. There's a door
Yes,
we
sir.
got to kick in tomorrow where we think Ming was in, or today.
Okay.
And I want to make sure
I had
that's
a call with
all-
Tony after we wrapped up last night. He's gonna keep trying to talk to Benji, but I don't know that Benji's gonna.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to trial, didn't he?
I mean, he went up in his own words to say because immediately Tony was like, "No, he's 1-1," and it's like, "Well, no." At the end, he himself went up to 6, right? So he's willing to have a talk. He's shown that, like, as much as he wants to act like he's being stubborn, he realized how fucked he is, and he's willing to make some sort of deal at something.
1
So, like,
year?
play with it. Tell me what the pain points are. Yeah, he wants 1 year, $1 million fine for everything, or no deal. That's what his
That's
posture
numerous hags.
Yeah, I know.
That's beyond a reasonable doubt.
It's
He quite literally told me, I did that shit on the phone. I mean, he's cooked. Everything is like, I'm gonna be real. Look, McAllister wrote some damn good warrants, right? Like,
Yep. Just McAllister.
well, no, I mean, listen, you
I know, I'm not.
you
No, sir, no, sir. I know. Sir.
So, you know, I don't really know what the out is. All right. All
No
right.
worries, sir.
All right. I will see y'all soon. Yep.
Yes, sir.
If you're bored, take a look at what Maeve is writing up for the search warrant.
Oh,
you know.
she sent me a nice text message yesterday.
Oh, really?
So nice. Yeah. I've never even had her number.